Moving on to our next deep dive, which happens Friday, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl in Atlanta. So this rematch for Oregon and Indiana will take place approximately over 2,500 miles of traveling for both teams. Oregon's going to have to cover most of these miles, traveling 2,176 miles from Eugene. If you're a Big Ten fan, it wasn't, you know, far fetched to say these teams will make it this far. It's just interesting to see Ohio State on the other side. What we're going to have to watch could decide so many things on Friday. One, I mean, this matchup is obviously going to decide who's going to the national championship in Miami. But two, this could also ultimately decide both, you know, Dante Moore and Fernando Mendoza's placement in the NFL draft. Um, there's no doubt both of these guys have proven to be, top five quarterback prospects, but in this head-to-head matchup against elite defenses, it could create some separation of potential number one and number two quarterbacks taken. Um, this by far, is the best QB matchup in the entire postseason. Two future top five picks, two elite offenses, and then you have two guys who can win a game on their own. I think it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
excited.
yeah, yeah. So this will also be, another determinant on who's gone in the portal and gotten better players this season. I know, Indiana, they took care of business the first time, 30-20. But now both teams, they have their footing. They look as elite as ever. And I think this game just means a little bit more, right? Um, all the talk has been around Kurt Signetti turning this Indiana team around, but let's not forget how well Dan Lanning had led that 2021 national champion UGA defense, and how quickly he brought Oregon back to the top and kept them at the top. Right? I really like the dynamic difference between these two coaches. I think they prove that more than one model can work. You got Dan Lanning. He's electric. He fires his team up the team. I mean, he fires his team up with energy and passion, right? On the other side, you got Kurt Signetti. He's calm but very confident, and he's been leading his team with dominance in the Big Ten. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Aside from head coaching and QBs, though, what are some identities that you see or notice about this Indiana team that has made them different this year, Mash?
Yeah, let's start on offense. So we know that we know what Mendoza can do, and how he consistently hits his favorite deep threat, Omar Cooper. But this team has a well balanced attack. They have Roman Hemby and Kalen Black, who give them a physical, downhill run game. With this excellent offensive line, Joe Moore finalists offensive line. So, and we saw how dominant they could be in that Rose Bowl game against Alabama. And then this defense is just one of the best in the country. Uh, Full stop. Right? They're allowing only 10.3 points a game on average. They're only giving up 250 or so yards a game on average. It's hard to find a flaw in them, and that's why they're unbeaten. And honestly, I think Indiana, every player just knows their role and they do it really well, and they make very little mental or physical mistakes because they just know how to do their job. And so yeah, I think that has carried them. I think that's something that's passed down from Kurt Signetti, and that you can see that in the players.
Yeah, yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head with that. I saw it in one interview. They were asking Kurt Signetti, how have you gotten to this level of greatness with this Indiana team? And he said, hey, we keep it simple, we do our job, but we're effective at it, right? He says, even with his coaches, I'm not going to keep you here all night. They were asking him why his coaches don't leave, and it's just because it's simple. Do your job, be effective at it, and we won't be here all night, right? So
Mm,
sometimes we tend to overcomplicate things when it's literally the simple blocking and tackling of
yep.
things. Yeah. So great points, great points. For Oregon, it's not really much different. They have a top ranked defense as well, right? Very, very elite at limiting explosive plays. And opponents have to drop down the field on them, which is, why Texas Tech could not score. And it's why they were shut out 23-0 in the game, right? On offense, ironically, They are a defense's worst nightmare. They're number one in the nation in plays over 20 yards. You have Dante Moore as your field general, and then you have Noah Whittington as your workhorse right now. He's averaging 93.8 yards late in this season. So um, I'd say we're in for another close game. With that being said, I have four keys to the game that I think will heavily influence the outcome. First one being number one, can you protect Dante Moore? We saw in this first matchup, he was heavily rattled and he got sacked 6 times in the game against Indiana in their first matchup. So my question is, will this O line be able to hold up and kind of carry a chip on their shoulder? Like, hey, we lost the battle last time. Can we come in and be dominant, right? Um, the second key, can Indiana's run game control the tempo? I mean, we saw a thing of beauty when they dominated an Alabama defense. That's right. I said it, an Alabama defense, the way they did last week. And they honestly looked comfortable. And at times it looked like they were able to do whatever they wanted throughout the game. So, I mean, if they bring that over into this game, it's gonna be
Over with.
ugly. Yeah. Um, and then another question or thing to consider, right? A key, which quarterback is going to make the fewest mistakes? I feel like this game and any game we see from now on in college football is going to be full of greatness. So it's going to require you to have perfect play and have play your best games, right? Um, both of these guys are electric Heisman contenders. Who's going to make the fewest mistake? Who's not going to throw an interception? Who's not going to miss a target? Who's not going to overthrow their receivers or make the wrong
Mm.
read, right? Whoever does that the least is going to better benefit their team. And then lastly, I mean, can Oregon finally break explosive plays against an elite defense, right? We've yet to see Moore have the electric game that he usually does against, mid-tier teams. And I think that sweet spot for him passing the ball is maybe over 230 yards, right? If he can get over that,
Okay.
I'd say he had a pretty good day and he tore up the defense pretty well. I think in terms of, outcome of the game, I think this might be close, but Indiana is just playing at a level where somebody has to just prove the world wrong and beat them.
Hmm.
I think that they will find a way to control the game with dominance in the trenches, and I have them winning by at least a touchdown in this one. So that's my pick. Mash, who's going to be your pick for this game?
Yeah, I think it'll be a similar 30 to 20 game that we saw the first time around. Ultimately, I think it comes down to kind of the same point I made earlier with how Kurt Signetti just keeps everything simple and everyone just does their jobs. I think Dan Lanning is going to try to be a little overly aggressive in this one, take risks that may or may not need to be taken, and I mean they might go their way. It might go their way, and Oregon wins, but over the law of averages, I feel like if Indiana can just do their job, they'll win this one. So I think there's a higher chance that Indiana wins this game. So that'll be my pick.
Nice. Nice. All righty. Well, that is all we pretty much had for the show today. Thank you again for watching First and Short. We will be back tomorrow to react to this game between Ole Miss and Miami. Excited to see what happens. You'll get our live reaction. Please tune into the show Thursday night. Thank you guys.
Appreciate it. Thank you.